Welcome, welcome. So today we will do a lesson in Deutsch. We're going to do
in Greek.
In Greek. We'll do a revision of the state continuation that we did last week. We're going to introduce since last week's lesson was fairly useless. This week's lesson is going to be much more useful in terms of normal conversation. So we're going to do comparators like Polish eats more potatoes than British, for example. This kind of sense.
Peeled potatoes.
Peeled potatoes, yes. And then at the end, we're going to continue the listening exercise that we started on Sunday. So we're going to try and do more of these every week, where we just do a listening exercise and use this routine that I will introduce you to for doing this practice. Too much pytania?
Sorry, Andy?
Any questions? Any questions?
Yes, Andy?
Yeah, go ahead.
I have to go for 10 minutes. I have to go pick up my daughter, apparently.
Did she fall over?
No, just getting from school. Just picking up from school.
Sure.
But my wife apparently is in a meeting, so.
No problem. See you soon. Okay. So let's revise. So do you all remember the state continuation jibber jabber from last week? Okay, let's have a little revision, shall we? Okay, so to say that something is in a certain state, we can either say the intransitive verb in the te form plus imas, that means it's done by itself, or the transitive verb in the te form plus arimas to say that it's done by another, by somebody else. Okay? So it should be, hopefully, this is the most important thing to stick in your mind, really, that intransitive goes with imas to mean itself, and transitive goes with arimas to say another agency with it. Okay, so let's give this a try, shall we? So let me just do this one, I can see more of you. And when we get to a verb that we're not sure of, we'll use AE-dict to find out the transitive or the intransitive version. So let's start with Łukasz. How would you say the window is open in the transitive form?
窓が open was 開ける?
開ける? Good. Yeah.
開けて、あります。
It's transitive. Yeah, good. あります. Exactly.
あります。
開けてあります。窓が開けてあります。Can everybody repeat this, please?
窓が開けてあります。sorry.
It's okay. Go ahead. どうぞ。窓が開けてあります。You there, Jock? What's up? You stuck?
Transitive.
Yeah.
But if it's open, who did it? It's done by another agency.
Yes.
You mean a non-human agency, or
could be human?
I'm with you.
Could be animal. Could be anything else really. It's just saying that a squirrel could do it as well. Yeah. A squirrel can open a window. Squirrels are very intelligent. They can do many things. But you don't need. The important thing that is in this sentence, you don't have to mention who the agency is. You're just saying the window was opened, or the window has been opened. This is what this sentence really means. It infers that somebody has done it. The window has been opened. And in brackets, there is by someone, but you don't need to say the brackets. That's just an infer.
Right, okay.
And Łukasz, can you do the intransitive version of this?
Only if you tell me what's the intransitive from akeru.
Okay, so let's.
We go back to this.
Yes.
All right.
Go to AE-dict. If I can. No.
Szybko.
Wolniej. So go to edict and type in akeru.
Okay,
Akeru.
go to kanji.
Yeah. With kanji, and you should see in
It's
the
aku.
kunyobi. Aku. There you go.
Aku.
Aku. Yeah.
Oh.
Like from Samurai Jack. Aku.
Chuck. Okay, so it'll be Madoga. Aku. Kuruba.
Kuruba.
Now the most complicated things ever on Japanese is Tefom.
It's Tefom, which hopefully you've all
Cool.
mastered since
Yeah,
I
it's
gave you.
ite. It's then ite. Aite.
Good. That's it. Good.
Madoga aite imasu.
Very good. Mado ga aite imasu. Okay. After three, everybody. 3.
Madoga aite imasu.
Very good. Okay. So just to be clear, this is just means the window is open. The window is open rather than the window has been opened. Yeah. Okay, cool. Konstantina, let's give you something different. How about so the two words are glass and dropped. Glass and dropped. So you can choose which one to do first, the transitive or the intransitive.
Do we have to see something on the screen that I'm missing?
No. I've left the screen
Okay.
off because
Okay.
I want you guys to try and form it in your head.
Okay, glass is?
Glass is garasu. Garasu.
Grazie. So, to drop, I know this. Is the one that I asked, the Sageru? No.
Well,
No,
it's
this is
actually a synonym. Sorry, it's a synonym of sageru.
The Ochiru?
Ochiru. This is a yes. You can use this, but you have to
Ochiru
identify.
or Otoshu?
Yes, exactly. So you have to determine which one is which, though.
Okay, if I use the Otoshu as transitive,
Good.
Grass ga.
Yeah.
Otoshu comes Ochite.
Sorry, are you using the transitive at the moment?
Yes.
So that's otosu. So it would be
Otoshu. I need to write down because I'm gonna forget. Otoshu, that will come with the arimas to be transitive. Okay.
correct. Yes.
So Otoshu ga, gasu ga otoshite arimasu.
Okay. One more time with confidence.
Grasu ga otoshite arimasu.
Excellent.
This is
Garasu
the
ga
transitive.
otoshite arimasu. Very good. All together, everybody. After 3. Garasu ga otoshite arimasu. Good.
Okay.
And the intransitive, Costa?
In transitive, if you're gonna use the ochiru.
Good.
Okay. Grasu ga ochite imasu.
Very good. One more time.
Grasu ga ochite imasu.
Very good. Garasu ga ochite imasu. All together, everybody. 1, 2, 3. Garasu ga ochite imasu. Yes, good. Cool. So let me just get this right for a second. There's a difference between a drinking glass and the glass of a window in Japanese. They're both pronounced almost the same way. I apologize. I think a drinking glass is gurasu and window glass is garasu. I think that's the right way around. A second. Gurasu. Yes, So gurasu is a drinking glass, and garasu is the glass in the window. Don't ask why. It just is this way. Okay, Sophie, how about the souvenir and broken? Souvenir and
Omiyage.
broken.
Okay, broken.
Omiyage, good. Omiyage, yeah.
Omiyage. Okay, broken.
So let's use the one for something like a cup or something which is delicate, which would shatter. We can use kawasu to mean the transitive. Kawasu.
Kawasu. Okay. Omiyage ga
Mhm.
koatte imasu.
One more time, please.
Omiyage ga
Mhm.
koatte imasu.
So the infinitive is kawasu with a su at the end.
Oshiete. So it's not koashite.
Kawashite. Yeah, kawashite. Yeah, exactly.
Imasu.
Yes, good. One more time, please.
Koashite. Okay. Omiyage ga koashite imasu.
So it's a transitive verb, though, isn't it? Kawasu. So
Koashite.
So kawashite is correct, but doesn't
Yeah.
go with imas. But the transitive, it must go with arimasu.
Okay.
Good. Well,
Okay. Omiyage ga
Mhm.
koashite arimasu.
very good. Omiyage ga kawashite arimasu. All together, everybody, go. Excellent. I can tell by your lip movements that you all got it correct. And then, Sophie, how about the intransitive?
I don't know the verb.
Then look it up.
I tried to find the aid and on my
Is that
iPhone. I can't find it. It's an iPhone.
Okay. So I'm just going to take a moment. I'm just going to take a moment from the PC Android squad to laugh at people who use Apple, because every time something goes wrong with a PC, Apple users go, no, get an Apple Mac. So no, get an Android. Now, I understand that it can be installed on the iPhone, but you have to go to the website to download it. But in the meantime, you can ask a friend here to do the search for you.
Okay, Piotr, please.
Owareru.
Owareru. Good.
Owareru. Okay.
Owareru.
O or
No. Ko. Like
ko.
So it's the same base and then different ending.
Kowareru.
Yeah.
Kowate.
So careful. So what group do you think this is? Kowareru. Kowareru.
It's a group too, right?
Yes. So therefore the Te form would be
kowarete.
Good. Kowarete.
Kowarete. Okay. Omiyage ga kowarete imasu.
Very good. Omiyage ga kowarete imasu. Everybody together, go. They're good. Yari, how about oops.
Is there an actual site that you're actually using? You mentioned it. I was using just a site.
If you've got an iPhone, you can't download it from the store. You have to go to AEDIC's website to download it. I understand. But you can, although you can actually use their website. There is an AEDIC website. You can use their web dictionary.
How is it called?
AEDIC.
AED.
The A actually stands for Android, you know?
Yeah.
I didn't find for ePhone any of that.
You couldn't other language.
Yeah, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
There is some French or something AEDIC, but not Japanese.
Right. Okay. If you go to the AEDIC website, though, I think you can use their browser-based dictionary.
Okay.
Addict. Addict. You not see it, Effie?
I don't find it. Maybe I'm not typing correctly.
Let me
I just
have a
use my
look.
Takoboto, but maybe it's not enough. I have a dictionary on my phone, but
Maybe the internet doesn't work on Apple.
But you can also use JavaScript. It has IP to contact with the dictionary.
no, I'm just using my dictionary now. Okay. Okay, sorry, I didn't want to interrupt. Hey, yeah, that's what I
Put a
meant.
link to the website in the chat.
Yeah, that's
Thank
what I
you.
meant.
Mm.
Just buy an Android. They're really cheap. And
Ωραία,
you can
αλλά
get Addict on it.
να συνεχίσω να παίρνω τα φάρμακα ή όχι.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, let's move on. So, Yari.
Εντάξει.
How about it's like my internet is stuck. Okay, right, Yari.
Yeah.
Do you have a dictionary available to you?
No, but I try to guess first.
Okay. Okay, let's
Then I ask
do
help. Yeah.
Sure. Okay, let's do one that you already know then. Training and started. Training and started.
Okay. Keiko ga hajimeru arimasu.
Remember, you have to put the verb into the test.
So hajimete arimasu.
Very good. Keiko ga hajimete arimasu. Everybody together. Go.
Keiko ga hajimete arimasu.
Very good.
And
Okay,
intransitive hajimaru,
yeah.
I think.
Yes.
So Keiko ga hajimate imasu.
Very good. Yes. So it's a hard double T. Hajimate imasu.
Yeah.
Okay, one more time, please, Yari.
Keiko ga hajimate arimasu. Imasu.
Hajimate imasu. Yes, good. Okay,
Imasu.
everybody together. Keiko ga hajimate
imasu.
Very good. Okay, cool. Piotr, you have Addict, do you? We're going to create a new stratification of society, those with and those without Addict.
Oh, that already
so-
existed.
Let's add some vocabulary. So the words are debt and increased.
Sorry. Oh,
debt,
debt, as in,
what you owe,
oh, debts. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Yes.
and increased.
Debt is shakkin.
Checking, good.
Shakkin. And increase is, wait, I had that recently. Fueru.
Fueru, good. Yes, and that's the
And fueru is, yeah, intransitive.
intransitive, isn't it? Yeah.
Sorry, guys. Is it okay if you write this up?
Sure. Yeah, just a second.
Fueru is group 2.
So this is debt and increased. So we're doing the that's the
Group 2, that's the
Group
intransitive.
intransitive, isn't it? Yeah. So it's shakin. Is it double K?
Hey,
Okay.
shakkin is not intransitive, by the way. Or, oh, you're just,
No, shakin's the noun.
yes, yeah. Shakkin ga
Yeah.
fuete imasu.
Fuete. Sorry, not feute.
That sounds
Fuete.
German.
This is coming from fueru, ne?
Hi.
Fueru, which is group
2.
Yeah. Just put this up.
So
Okay,
so
one more
by
time,
the way,
please,
this is in
Mm.
for people new to AEDIC. This is written as Ichidan group because it has only one form.
Yeah, group 2 is Ichidan. It's V1, I think, on the. Have you got yours switched on to Japanese already? Completely Japanese, or have you got English on yours as well?
So it says.
There we go. Right. Yeah. Yeah. I think on the. Let's have a quick look a second. On the list of options, where I think it also says there if it's group 1 or group 5. But yeah. So when you actually put the English word in first, and you get a list of options, it also says there V1 for Shodan verbs, or Ichidan verbs rather, and VI for intransitive. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, good.
And then when it gives V5, it also gives the letter of the syllable.
I
So,
hadn't noticed that.
For example,
Right.
the other one will be Fuyasu. It will give a
Fuyasu, yeah.
V5S.
Yeah, it's true. Oh, well spotted.
So the transitive form will be Fuyasu.
Yep.
Which means we will get shakin ga fuyashite arimasu.
Shakin ga fuyashite arimasu. Yeah. This is fuyasu, which is group 1. Good, excellent. So let's do the first one first, guys. Piotr, can you say one more time, shakin ga fuete imasu?
Shakin ga fuete imasu.
Okay, everybody together, go.
Shakin ga fuete imasu.
And then the second one, please, Piotr.
Shakin ga fuyashite arimasu.
Good. Shakin ga fuyashite arimasu. Oh, everybody together. Shakin ga fuyashite arimasu. They're good.
Danke.
Bitte. Effie, let's find one for you. Let's do this one. Clothing and hang outside to dry. Let me just put this up. Clothing. Hang outside to dry. Yeah.
Hang outside to dry. Huh?
So,
is that a compound?
No, it's one verb actually. It's the transitive is hosu, which is
it's just dry. It just okay, hosu.
Yeah.
Hosu. That's a transitive. Now what's the clothes? Wait, the clothes.
This is yofuku.
Okay.
Not fugu. Yofuku.
So, do I have to say hang outside as well, or is it just?
Yeah. Why not? Yeah. Let's use outside as well.
Outside.
Say outside.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yofuku ga.
Yeah.
Soto.
Yes.
To dry. That's the transitive. So, hoshite arimasu.
Hoshite arimasu. Now, let's just. This isn't a trick question. It is kind of a trick question. What location particle should I put after soto?
Soto de.
Zasatsuka. Ne.
It's not de.
So the actual main verb in the sentence is arimasu.
Yeah.
So this is a state verb. Therefore, the location is marked with ni. Exactly. Yes.
Okay.
Cool. And then the intransitive.
Can I just guess? Is it like
no, it's quite different actually. You might need to phone a friend.
Dry.
I think Constantina knows it already actually.
Not fuku? No, fuku we said now. What? No. Hosu. Kawakas. What? Kawakas?
If you look at the screen, Effie, there's like 5 people shouting at the
Oh my,
screen.
sorry. Say it. I don't see. No.
Oh, guys, you can unmute yourselves. Go ahead.
Hiru.
Hiru, well done.
Hiru.
Hiru, yeah. It's,
Isn't
it's
that,
quite
doesn't that
different.
mean something else?
That means daytime, but it's a different kanji.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, group 2. Yofuku ga soto ni.
Yeah, good.
Hite.
Yes.
Imasu.
Very good.
Hite imasu. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Iteimasu. Very good. Okay, so Effie, one more time, can you read the first one, please?
Okay. So, yofuku ga soto ni hoshite arimasu.
Good. Yofuku ga soto ni hoshite arimasu. All together, everybody. Dozo.
Yofuku.
Ga soto ni hoshite arimasu. And then the second one, please, Effie.
Yofuku ga soto ni hite imasu.
Very good. Yofuku ga soto ni hiteimasu. All together, everybody. Dozo. Excellent. Good. Piotr, dozo.
I hope a quick one.
Sure.
If you just use fuku, would that be understood as well? Because yo is really the western part, right?
Yeah, you can say fuku, but almost everybody wears Western clothing in Japan, so it's better to you just yofuku is generally means clothing in general. So,
So if you say fuku, you'd basically be referring to what Monski and Hakama, or
it could be, but the thing is that there are lots of other words which are pronounced as fuku.
oh, okay.
So to avoid doubt, you can just put yofuku, and it's clear that you're talking about clothing. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Like blow is fuku. Okay. Spiros, let's do just a second. Let's do this one. So the 2 words are lesson and finished. Lesson and finished.
Lesson in.
I think it's. Do you have a dictionary with you?
No, I don't.
I think it's jugyo.
Jugyo.
Yeah, just a second. I just want to make sure because jugyo. Yeah, jugyo.
Okay. Jugyo ga.
Yeah. Yoga.
Owari shiteiba.
No. So owaru is the.
Owaru.
No, is this the transitive or the intransitive? Owaru.
Owaru, I think, is the intransitive. Something is finished by.
It is intransitive. You're right.
By itself.
Yeah.
So yoga, owaru. Owat.
Go ahead.
Owateimasu.
Owateimasu. Yes, good.
Owateimasu.
Yeah, owaru. Yes, exactly. Owaru. So this is actually a group 1 verb, even though it's got ends with ru. It's owarimasu. So owateimasu. Good. And then the transitive version.
The verb is.
You can phone a friend and ask. You can select somebody to find it for you. Spiros?
I'm losing this.
Anybody found it?
Oeru.
Oeru. Yeah.
Oeru.
Good too.
Sorry, Luca.
Oeru. And is that
young and quick.
Group 2 verb. So
yes.
Jugyo ga oete arimasu.
Yes, exactly. Oete arimasu. So good, so good. Can you say the first one again, please, Spiros?
Jugyo ga owateimasu.
Good. Jugyo ga owateimasu. Everybody together. Dozo. Jugyo ga
Jugyo ga
owatte
owatte
imasu.
imasu.
Good. And the second one,
one,
Spiros?
Jugyo ga oete arimasu.
Very good. Jugyo ga oete arimasu. All together, everybody. Dozo.
Jugyo ga.
Very good. Okay. Yeah, dozo.
Short side note, this is one of the cases where group 1 and group 2 are switched for transitive and intransitive.
Ah, okay. So owaru is transitive, is it?
No. This is owaru is intransitive. That's the thing. It's usually the other way around.
Oh, you mean the grouping of 1 and 2?
Yeah.
Ah, yes. Yeah. And the previous one as well.
No, you just put the sequence the other way around.
Have I? Oh, yeah.
You put transitive first.
See, it changes. It's a mystery. Okay. And Jock, let's find one for you. Let's do this one. This is going to be slightly, what's the word? Different, Jock. I'm pretty sure it is anyway. A key, oops, right? A key, and it is lost. Let's do the transitive first, though, because that is the one we can get out of the way pretty easily. Oh, you're muted, Jock. Sorry.
Okay. Kagi ga nakusu. So
Good.
nakushite arimasu.
Very good. Yes. So it's nakusu, isn't it? Nakusu, which is group 1. Cool.
Intransitive, though.
Yeah, this is the funny one, isn't it? Slightly. I think.
I don't know. No idea. Kagi ga. We can start with that.
Yep. Kagi ga. Let's have a quick look. I think we have to do a bit of a hop, skip, and a jump on this one. Hang on a second. Nakusu. One. Oops. That one. Kanji.
I think I must have a different edict because none of these things that you're saying comes up on it at all.
Let's go back to, if you go to Nakusu, Jock, just type in Nakusu, yeah? And then you should get 2 entries. One is for death, lost through death, the top one. And then the second one, the mu one, is to lose something. Can you see those 2?
Yes.
So if you press the second one.
Yeah. Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. And then you see you've got the menu kanji at the top. This actually says the word kanji at the top of the page.
Yes.
You click that. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, on this one, on this particular kanji, you don't have what we're looking for. But in what usually happens is in the kunyomi, there should be all the different readings. So let's just go, just as a experiment, let's go back to the beginning again and type in akeru. So go into the search bar again and type in akeru.
Sorry, I'm holding everybody up here.
No, that's right. If everybody's having a practice of this, it's good.
Yeah, please.
Akeru.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now you've got a list of potential options, and the first one is the right one, isn't it?
Okay. So hit that one.
Hit that one. And then hit kanji. Yeah. Then hit kanji at the top.
Yep.
And then you've got, again, about 1/3 of the way down the page, you've got kunyomi. Hiraku, hiraki, biraki, hirakeru, aku, akeru. Can you see that?
A third down the page.
Yeah, you've got onyomi and then kunyomi.
Onyomi kai.
Yeah, and then below that, kunyomi.
Kunyomi, hiraku.
Yeah, so here's now all the readings that you need. Hiraku, hiraki, biraki, hirakeru, and then you've got aku and akeru. So if you were looking for the the intransitive of akeru, you'd see aku and you think, it's probably that because it sounds like akeru, and it's the same, obviously the same kanji, so it means the same thing. So you've now got a clue as to what either the other.
I've got both aku and akeru.
Right, but you were looking for akeru at the beginning, right?
Right.
So you know that akeru is the transitive verb, don't you? You knew this from the beginning. Akeru is transitive. Now you've got a clue what the intransitive is. It might be aku. It might be aku. So what you then do is go back to your search bar and type in aku.
Oh dear.
Okay. So look for aku.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Now the very top one, aku, it says to open, e.g. doors, to open.
Yep.
And if you look just below the first kanji, it says P V5K VI. Can you see that in brackets? Really, really small.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Open.
So
yeah.
So V5K means it's group 1. It's a Goldan verb. And VI means it's an intransitive verb. So you now know that this is the intransitive version of akeru.
Okay. So it gives me aku.
Yeah, exactly. So you now know that aku is the intransitive version of this word.
Okay.
Want to do another one?
So try the nakusu then.
This is a dangerous one because it doesn't give you the 2 readings. Let's just do a different verb. Let's do to close. So what do you remember to close as being in Japanese? What's the word to close?
Shimeru.
Shimeru. So type in shimeru.
Yep.
Okay, and you can see in the first one it's got shimeru, and then underneath that it says P V1 VT.
VT, yes. Yeah.
So VT means this is the transitive verb. Okay, and you know V1, this is a ichidan verb, which means group 2 basically. If you click on it, shimeru, remembering this is the transitive verb, then you get this page. Then press kanji at the top, the word kanji.
And
then you've got kunyomi.
Grade level 3. Kunyomi, yes.
Yeah.
Jiru.
So tojiru, tozasu, shimeru, which was the original word you were looking for. And then just after that, you've got shimaru. This is probably the intransitive verb.
Why?
Because if you look at all the different...
Why isn't it tozasu?
Well, these also mean to close, but they're different, obviously different pronunciations of the word. So if you go into a lift and there's a button which says to close, this says tojiru rather than shimeru. And it's just a slightly different meaning of to close. So Jock, don't look at the dictionary a second, look at the screen. So for example, in Japan, this is akeru, when you're opening a door. Can you see me?
No.
Okay, can you see me now?
No.
No, because we see the board, the whiteboard.
Oh, okay. Let me stop sharing this a second. Okay, can you see me now?
Yes.
Right. Okay. So in Japanese.
Sorry, everyone. This is really.
Don't worry. This is. I'm sure this is useful for everybody. If I open the door one-handed like this, like a normal door, this is akeru, isn't it?
Yeah.
If I get sliding doors like this and open them like this is hiraku. The kanji are the same, but the meaning of this meaning and this meaning have got 2 different pronunciations of the same kanji, but they mean slightly different things. This means to open like one-handed in one direction, whereas this means to spread open, like you're opening shoji. So this is hiraku and this is akeru. The kanji are exactly the same, The reading is slightly different. And this is the same for shimeru and tojiru. Shimeru means to close the door like this. Tojiru means to close the door like this.
Okay.
So what do you think your eyes do? Your eyelids? Do they shimeru or do they tojiru?
Tojiru.
Tojiru,
No.
exactly. They tojiru. It's tojiru because they slide closed. They slide closed. They don't flap down like this. Well, mine do because I've got massive eyelashes. Like
Oh my God.
she's dressed up like a woman. But your eyelids do this. So this is tojiru. A lift door is tojiru. A shoji is tojiru. But any Western door, a swinging door, this is shimeru. Yeah.
They
Okay.
in the saloons they have the double doors.
ones?
Yeah.
I think this is double, so this is hiraku actually. I think this is hiraku.
And this circulating doors, you know, this kind of that.
That's sort of
I have heard that
Those don't open.
Momiyama sensei says sometimes hiraete noto kudasai.
Right. So yeah,
Just
so,
opening both hands.
exactly. Yeah, this spreading wide to open up in a sideways direction. This is hiraku. Hiraite no chiburi. Hiraite no chiburi. Yeah, exactly. Okay, Jock, are you ready for the forwards now? I mean, the most important thing.
Okay.
Let's go back to shimeru a second. Let's go back to Eidict.
Okay.
So we can see that we've got the different kunyomis of this character. We've got tojiru,
right.
bozasu, shimeru, which we knew that was the transitive version of closing a Western style door.
Shimeru, yeah.
Then after that, we got shimaru. Right, so that sounds quite similar to shimeru. It's got shi at the beginning, and then it's got ma.
Yeah.
So we can assume that this is we can assume that this is probably going to be the other verb version of shimeru. So if shimeru is the transitive, this is probably the intransitive. So what we do, we go back into the search bar at the top, and we type in shimaru, and we look for shimaru.
Shimaru, right? Okay, so it's group two intransitive.
Yes, it's group one though. It's got V5R, which is Goldan verb, which means
Why group 5-1?
So in the Japanese education system, group one verbs are called Goldan verbs because there's 5 different ways of turning it into the tefel. There's the double TE, the ITE, the NDE, and the TE. There must be another one. You remember when we did the TEFL?
Yes.
I categorized them into groups. Sorry, Lukasz?
Maybe shte is the. Maybe
oh, sorry. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, SU to SHITE. Yeah. So remember, these were all different groups. That means Godan. So group 1 verbs are called Godan verbs. Group 2 verbs have only got one way of transforming. So these are called Ichidan verbs, 1-stage verbs. So Ichidan are group 2, Godan are group 1.
Okay, that's useful.
Yeah. This is the difference between learning Japanese as a foreign language and learning it as a native. In the Japanese education system, they're called Godan verbs and Ichidan verbs. And what's group 3? Anybody? I can't remember.
Nidan verbs.
Nidan? It might be.
I don't know.
I think it possibly is Nidan verbs. Let's put it. Let's put it in Suru, and it should tell you. VSI, it says. So, let's try Kuru.
It's a special class.
Ah, right, that's what it means then, special, right.
Kuru just gives VI or VK, which...
And VK. So K must mean something.
And also said irregular. It says irregular from some.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But VK
maybe it means.
So Transitive,
What do you mean it's kurva?
intransitive, and
It's verb kurva.
well, that's how it feels like, yeah.
Sorry, go ahead. Intransitive and transitive in Japanese. Did you ask?
No. I was wondering because yeah, there's VT, there's VI, and then for kuru there's VK, which
maybe they've given that.
kurva.
Maybe they've just given because there's only two irregulars, suru and kuru. Maybe they've given them each of their own class. VIS for suru and VK for kuru.
So is
Nie ma importancia, na, tak?
I'll look into it.
Okay, probably not important at this stage. Okay, right, Jock, let's go back to your question, nakusu. So nakusu was the transitive. Jock, you almost certainly know this when I write it. It's just that you've probably got tied up with the Japanese. Kagi ga, and then the, sorry. The intransitive is nakunaru. I'm sure you've heard this before. Nakunaru.
Yes, of course I know this, but I mean, I would never have realised it was an intransitive.
Yeah, so I mean, that's what I mean. You have to do a bit of mental gymnastics to think, which one's this? But yes, nakunaru. So how would we put this into the sentence?
Nakunatte iru.
Yes, good. Nakunatte imasu. Exactly. Nakunatte imasu. So this is a slightly different pattern. Go ahead, Jock, sorry.
Isn't nakunaru though dying rather than being lost?
So again, if you type in naku into the dictionary, you'll find multiple entries.
Yes.
One of them is dying, and one of them is just to lose something, or to become nothing, to cease to exist.
Yeah.
Naku. Yeah.
But
Right.
it's totally different than naku, like crying. Or
yeah,
dog
exactly.
barking.
Yeah. Yes, yeah. If you scroll down, you can see there's nakunaru. There's two entries of nakunaru. Nakunaru meaning to die, which is the intransitive, and nakunaru to lose something, which is also the intransitive.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Like to be disappeared. To disappear.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, to lose something, or for you to disappear. Exactly. Yeah.
So both nakusu and nakunaru are group 1 verbs.
Nakusu, yes, they are. Yeah.
Well, apologies, everyone.
No, I'm sure this was useful. This was useful for everybody, wasn't it, to understand verbs a little bit deeper. Tom, you're the last one. How else? Let's do. Oh, this was quite a tricky one. So let's do this one. Books and arranged or queued.
So books, honga.
Good. Let's do a transitive version.
To arrange. Arrange is naraberu.
Naraberu, good.
Naraberu.
And what is that transitive or intransitive, Tom?
That would be transitive.
Transitive, so we can use it.
Group 1, so it's a group 2, so it should be narabete arimasu.
Very good. Narabete.
With one T. Arimasu.
Yes, exactly. Good. And then the intransitive.
Is it difficult? Could it be nami? No, narabu. Narabu, I think.
Narabu. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, narabu. Narabu. Frequent. To line up, to stand in a line. So cute. Yeah, to stand in a line. And that's a group 5 because it's a bu ending.
Good.
So, nande.
One more time. Sorry, one more time, Tom.
So, yeah, unde. No, mama, we changed the bu with unde. So, Narande.
Very good. Narande.
Narande.
Yeah, I think before you put in an extra RA, so narande. Narande, yeah. Narande. And then
For the pronunciation, do we say nde or rande?
Narande. Narande. So you don't need to stick on any particular syllable. You can just roll over everything. Narande.
Narande imasu.
Very good. Yeah, narande imasu. Good. Okay, Tom, can you read the first one again, please?
Hon ga narabete arimasu.
Good. Hon ga narabete arimasu. Everybody together?
Hon ga narabete arimasu.
Excellent. And then the second one, please, Tom.
Hon ga narande imasu.
Hon ga narande imasu. All together?
Hon ga narande imasu.
Excellent. So if you're queuing up with people, you also say narande imasu. I am queuing. Narande imasu. Narabimasho. Let's queue. Narabu. Narabimasu. I will queue. Cool. Let's go back to Jock's one as well, because we didn't read this one. So Jock, can you read your first one again? Kagi ga nakushite arimasu. Good. All together?
Kagi ga nakushite arimasu.
Good. And the second one, please, Jock.
Kagi ga nakunatte imasu.
Kagi ga nakunatte imasu. All together?
Kagi ga nakunatte imasu.
Excellent. Good. So, just as I said last week, this state continuation is almost certainly pretty useless, but at least it's helped us to understand transitive, intransitive, how to use the dictionary, what the different verb grouping is between Japanese learning in Japan and learning outside of Japan. It's all useful stuff, guys. Okay, any questions?
Can I ask you, Andy? Yes, please.
Sure. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I downloaded something on this subject, and it says that verbs become transitive or intransitive depending on the way they end. So if they end with aru, then you replace with eru. If they end in reru, you replace with su. And there are dozens and dozens of these, well, 8 in fact, ways of doing this by looking at the end of the verb.
Yes.
It doesn't seem to tie with anything much.
I mean, the website that I linked to it gives like one paragraph guide for knowing whether or not it's transitive and intransitive depending on the ending. But it does say there are exceptions. And in the end, what you have to do is basically learn all the verbs and memorize them as being either transitive or intransitive. I know that sounds like a lot to learn, but actually, I don't think this is the hardest part of Japanese. I think through practice, it will become almost second nature which ones are transitive and intransitive. So certainly those which finish with su, most of these are transitive almost exclusively. But I don't, this isn't from learning a rule. It's just I noticed as I've been learning Japanese and as we've been learning Japanese together, that su is usually the transitive verb, usually.
Okay, yeah.
And as you said, anything ending in aru is almost usually the intransitive verb.
There's reru, ending with reru, areru, ending in su, ending in asu. I mean, there are dozens.
We're not going to do. Yeah, we're not going to read through all of them. Best thing to do is to put these into context and learn everything in some kind of context. So we will now incorporate these state continuation verbs into our practice stuff that we do. So when we do reading or listening practice, I will start using these, and you'll have to learn to recognize them. And then by having them in context, you're much more likely to memorize them than just reading through lists and lists of verbs. You won't remember it this way. For every one that you memorize, you'll forget one of them. Better to learn them in context. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions, guys? Cool. let's move on to today's new subject, which is a lot easier and a lot more useful, you'll be glad to know. Hooray!
Games of Thrones, yeah.
Yeah, you saw it. Hey. Where was it now? Yeah. Automatically say, done this, done this, done this. All right, just move this away. Put on my little red pointy thing. Close that down. Move that. God, Zoom's got so much crap on the screen that you don't need, isn't it? Today we are looking at comparators and using these two characters here. Does everybody know these two characters? Does anybody not know these two characters?
I know of them.
You know of them. Who is this person here?
The one holding the door?
That's the one. This is Hodor, and this one? Anybody not know?
The one that drinks and knows things.
And has sex with lots of things as well. This is Tyrion. Yanni, do you know these people? This one looks like...
Yeah, maybe. I bought for my daughter the 7 recent season, but I haven't looked it myself. But
actually, Yanni, this looks like you.
Yeah.
Are you sure this isn't you after forgetting to shave for a few weeks?
Could be, yeah.
Yeah. And Wilkesh, this is you.
Definitely. I do things. And I know things.
But I think Lucas is better with the sword, like that guy.
Yeah, but this guy could just pick you up and throw you into a garbage disposal unit, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, so comparators. These aren't flying creatures. These are something else. Let's start with a basic form. Okay, so we know that we got Hodor and Tyrion. So we want to say A is bigger than B. Obviously, Hodor is bigger than Tyrion. So we would say Hodor wa Tyrion yori ookii desu. Okay, so this is our basic sentence structure. We're marking Hodor as the topic. You can use ga as well, it doesn't matter. Hodor wa or Hodor ga Tyrion yori ookii desu. So in this example, the word yori means two things in Japanese. It means than and from. Excuse me a second, I think somebody's just entered the room. No. That's also an annoying sound on Zoom. You get a little tinkling noise to make it sound like somebody's arrived and they haven't. Okay. All right, give me a second. So yori means than, as in compared to, and from. So if we're using kara to mean from, watashi wa Igiris kara kimashita, we can also use yori. Watashi wa Igiris yori kimashita. We can also use yori in this way. But in this case, we're using it to mean than. I'm going to cover this next few lines with an example in a second, so don't worry too much if it's not clear why we've got a difference. If you want to give greater emphasis to the greater of the two, you can mark it, instead of using ga or wa, you can use nohoga. So, for example, Hodor nohoga Tyrion yori ookii desu. I know you're looking funny now, Piotr, but I'll explain in a second why we have this difference. Give me a second for everybody to write it down. Okay. Everybody okay so far? Any questions?
Hang on, have you put anything else up, Andy?
Can you see the screen?
Yeah. Just Hodor no Hoga. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's where we are. Yeah, that's where we are.
The long pause there.
Yeah. So I was just making sure because I can see some people writing down notes. So
now I have a question. Because
go ahead.
You have used in some Ghost session Hoga E. So now I understand why, because that direction word gives there an idea that you maybe it's good to do it like this.
Exactly. Doing it this way is
better.
Direction.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. In fact, we'll come on to that a bit later on, Yadi, how we can say that something is better to do it this particular way. Yeah. This is the last bit I'm going to say on this, and I'll give you an explanation as to why we do this. We don't have to use adjectives at the end. We can also use verbs. So, for example, if I was to say, I have more money than Jock, I have more money than Jock. So to say I have money, what would I say, Spiros? How would I say I have money? Just I have money. Spiros, come forwards. Unmute. You there, Spiros? As you may, I think your internet's frozen. Yadi, how would you? Oh, there we go.
Yes.
Okay, Spiros. Sorry. How would you say
Yes.
I have money? How would you say I have money?
Okane imasu.
Okane ga arimasu.
Okane ga arimasu.
Ga arimasu. So this has got a verb at the end. This has got a verb at the end. Okane ga arimasu. If I said watashi wa Jock yori okane ga arimasu, means I have more money than Jock. So I can put a verb at the end. You can have a verb, you can have an adjective. You're just saying that you are more than something else, or A is greater in this factor than something else. An adjective or a verb, you can use either.
Yes.
You can probably use a noun actually as well. Anything can go at the end. Anything can go. Right, now let me explain why we have these two different forms. Hodo wa tirin yori ookii desu, and hodo no hou ga tirin yori ookii desu. Let me explain this. I'm going to stop sharing for a second, and I'm going to put this up onto a white screen. Right, I need you to visualize this in order to understand it. I'm in Ishido Sensei's dojo, and with me, I have Wukash, and I have Tomek with me. Okay, so Tomek is the other Polish person. So just imagine there are two Polish people, Tomek and Wukash. So I'm talking to Ishido Sensei. Okay, now I'm talking about Wukash and Tomek. I'm talking about them to Ishido Sensei in Japanese. I could say Wukash wa Tomek yori utsukushii desu. Utsukushii desu. Okay, this is one of those weird situations where it's actually true. Okay, so Wukash is more beautiful than Tomek. Okay,
I thought you read Baka.
Now, if both me and Ishido Sensei know that we're talking about Wukash and Tomek, I could also say Wukash no hou ga utsukushii desu. Because we know that we're talking about two of them, I don't need to say Tomek yori. Okay? We know who we're talking about. We're talking about these two people. I don't need to say Wukash no hou ga Tomek yori utsukushii desu, because I know we both know we're talking about these two people. Okay? If I was
this is eternal truth.
Yes, in all different ways. If I only said Wukash wa utsukushii desu, all this means is Wukash is beautiful. It doesn't mean more beautiful than Tomek. It just says Wukash is beautiful. So I can't use this by itself. But I can use this and only refer to one of the two things that I'm comparing. Okay, so far, guys?
Mm-hmm.
Really, that's the answer as to why we've got these two ways of saying it. We don't need to mention both of them. If it's clear who the two parties are, we can just mention one of them. Łukasz no Holga utsukushi desu means of the two, Łukasz is more beautiful. Any questions? Is that clear, everybody? Does anybody not quite understand?
Fully understand.
Fully understand. Of course you do.
I'm in the border, almost.
Okay.
If you explain that the middle of sentence, which is now that one.
This one. So this means, this kind of means, without saying it, of the two, this is unspoken, Łukasz is more beautiful. Okay, but I haven't mentioned Tomek because we were already talking about Tomek and Łukasz. I can use this, but if I only said Łukasz wa utsukushi desu, this doesn't mean anything except Łukasz is beautiful. It doesn't compare him to somebody else. Even if we know we're talking about two people, it's just stating a fact, or not. It's just making a statement. It's not saying Łukasz is more beautiful than Tomek. It just says Łukasz is beautiful. Doesn't mean anything in comparison to Tomek. Whereas this one,
direction there, the whole.
Don't worry about this. Yeah, don't worry too much about this for the moment. Just have this as a little phrase, which means the most in this case.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Now I understand.
Okay. Piotr, dozo.
So would you still use no Holga when speaking of two people or two objects, things, subjects?
Yeah, sure. So the longer version of the sentence is Łukasz no Holga Tomek yori utsukushi desu. But you can probably sense that this part becomes slightly redundant when we know that we're comparing these two people.
Yeah.
When this is already clear.
If they are the subjects of the conversation, that would be clear. So you say of the two Łukasz. But if you're not talking about them, or let's say you speak about a group of 10 people, or you want to select two of them, you need the names. But then why would you use no Holga instead of just wa? Is that really pure emphasis?
No, I mean, this is actually the central point of what I'm saying. You can use this sentence in its entirety. It means so this, give me a second, one and this one mean the same thing. They are exactly the same meaning.
Okay, so there is no the added emphasis in the bottom one.
Not significantly. I mean, this is a comparison of two. So if this is Tomek and this is Łukasz, if I say Łukasz wa Tomek yori utsukushi desu, this is an unread scale. All I'm saying is that one is greater than the other. Łukasz no Holga Tomek yori utsukushi desu. It's still just saying that Łukasz is more than Tomek. It doesn't make Łukasz the most beautiful in the world. It just says he's more beautiful than Tomek.
Okay.
So
I know that you might be just.
Sorry,
Constantine, go ahead.
So this is not a superlative, like it's the most of all or whatever. It's just the most, but between, than the other. Okay.
Yes, exactly this. So let me just move these around slightly, and then it'll become a little bit easier to understand. So these two, I both marked with one because they mean the same thing. When we know the subjects of the comparison, then we can use version 2, which is Łukasz no Holga utsukushi desu. Because unspoken, let me take this bracket off, otherwise that's also confusing.
Andy, just a very quick question. Sure. The first sentence and the bottom sentence is ga, not no ha. I guess it's a mistyping.
So it can be either. It doesn't matter, actually. You can use wukash wa or wukash ga.
No, but it's written ha. It's written ha.
This is intentional. This is
mistyping, I guess.
No. This is correct. If in a second, let me just write in Japanese for you to show you. If I want to write so sometimes I'll write, sorry, actually a few people have commented on this before. Under the Romaji system that we're using at the moment is called the Hepburn system. Okay, this is an agreed standard for writing Japanese using Roman letters. Okay, called the Hepburn system. Under that system, I believe war we're supposed to write as or, even though it's written in hiragana, war. And I think wa, as in watashi wa, I think it's supposed to be written wa. But the hiragana is definitely ha.
Okay.
I often write ha because when you guys start writing hiragana, I want you to remember that wa is written as ha.
Okay, thank you.
That's the difference. Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry.
No problem. Okay. Where was I? Wukash no Hoga Tsukushi desu. Yeah, and that's it. That's the only difference between these two. This has the other subject is inferred.
So why would you use no Hoga when speaking of both? As it's it's longer, so why would you? Doesn't really matter, does it?
Who doesn't use redundant speech in their talking?
Fair point.
Yeah. I mean, to a certain degree, you're kind of making it clear that Wukash is the one who's more beautiful of the two, rather than just taking Wukash as being the subject and saying more than Tomek. Wukash wa Tomek yori utsukushi desu is saying, as for Wukash, he is more beautiful than Tomek. Wukash no hou ga Tomek yori utsukushi desu means of the two, Wukash is more beautiful than Tomek. It's just giving a little bit more detail to the sentence, but it doesn't really change the meaning. It doesn't really change the meaning. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, are we all clear on that, guys? What the difference is? What we can
that's a great topic of this discussion. Absolutely great.
Yeah. We're going to change it in a second. Okay. Let's go back to the slide. What about if we look from the other direction? How about we look from Tyrion's direction compared to Hodor? Now, I've rather ironically really picked the wrong names for this because we introduce a new Japanese word in a second. So if I say, if I want to make Tyrion the subject, Tyrion is not as big as Hodor, then, sorry, this was a bad mistake really. The word is Hodor, which sounds a bit like Hodor, but let's be clear to not mix these up. Tyrion wa, so now Tyrion is the subject or the topic. Hodor, Hodor, or this has got so many bad things about it. I mean, just saying it in Spanish is going to sound funny. I can't wait for Oliverio and Joel to do this lesson. Tyrion wa, Hodor, Hodor, or kikunai desu. So you notice that the adjective is in the negative though, and the verb, if it was a verb, we would also use the negative of the verb. So because it's not as big, not as big. Oh, Rebbe, did you want to join this one actually? Oh, okay, sure, yeah, okay. Okay. But notice that the sorry, just lost the internet. If we're comparing things and we want to say that the A is not as much as B, we can't use yori. We have to use hodo. It takes the place of yori completely. And then we have to make the criteria that we are using, that has to be negative. So let's do an example. So again, we've got Łukasz and Tomek, and we'll say, let's use clever. So the word for clever is atama ga I. Okay, atama ga I. How's this going to work, Łukasz? Who knows? So if I wanted to say that Łukasz is not as clever as Tomek, which is something that I might say.
That's still true. That's still true.
I again put Łukasz as the topic or the subject, Łukasz ga. Tomek hodo atama ga. Now I have to use the negative of I. This is yokunai. Des. Des, exactly, yeah. So as you can see, this is taking almost the place of yori in this case as the comparer. But if we're using a negative, yokunai, atsukunai, okane ga nai, then this has to be not yori, but hodo.
You would use yori here. Would that just say Łukasz is not smarter than Tomek?
It would make the sentence nonsensical, actually. Yeah. You can't use a negative here and then use a yori here. It would sound like you might have been making a double negative sound, like Łukasz is not clever as Tomek.
Andy?
Yeah.
In the beginning, you said you could also use a noun. So could you also say Łukasz ga Tomek hodo tenkai dewa arimasen? Not a genius? Tenkai dewa arimasen.
Tenkai? Yeah, you could.
Tenkai dewa, and then you use a noun. Okay.
Do you mean tensai? Or
Tenkai, I think. Tenkai, genius. Okay. We saw it on Kenji and Rieko.
Tensai.
Tensai.
Yeah. Tensai dewa arimasen. Yeah, you can absolutely use this. Yeah. Because remember, we've got a noun here, but why am I so sure that we can put a noun here? This is just a general lateral question now. Why do I know that we can use a noun here? Lateral question. Ever think about all of the Japanese studies that you've done?
But we're using it as an adverb here, right?
No, it's a noun actually. Tesko ga co-op yori, sorry, hodo benri dewa arimasen. Because if we can use na adjectives, then we can use nouns, because all na adjectives are basically nouns. So I know that I can use a noun here because if we're going to use na adjectives, we are using nouns. Yeah. Any questions, guys, before we do some exercise? Oh, we've got actually a bit more to learn, actually. Piotr, dozo?
Yeah, so we're now using the negative verb. So is that because we can't make the noun itself negative, we're turning des into dewa arimasen?
Yes.
Help.
For na adjectives, to turn them into the negative, we say the thing, say benri or genki, and we just say dewa arimasen. That's how we invert a na adjective. If we invert an I adjective, and as you know, the I becomes
we conjugate.
Kunai desu. Sorry, Yanni?
Is it conjugation or what is the verb the word in English?
Which one?
So making change to word.
Conjugate.
Oh, conjugation.
Okay, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
What does tensai mean? The noun.
Genius.
Genius. Okay.
It's referring to me and Tomek. Yeah. Oh,
and Joseph Stalin in that case.
Kenji was a genius.
Yeah. If I want to say, let's see, something costs more than something else. Let's have a look. Let's say that Toyotas cost more than Nissan, for example. Sorry, let's do this other way around. Nissans don't cost as much as Toyota. So what's the word to cost?
Kakaru.
Kakaru. So this is a verb. Kakaru. So I can say Nissan. Go ahead. Go ahead, Spiros. Go ahead. Spiros, go ahead. No,
Yes.
no, say it. Come and do it for me.
Nissan ga, Toyota Hodo, Kakai deba arimasen.
Oh no, so this is just a group one verb. Just a group one verb. So turn this into the negative.
Kakanai.
No, don't do anything.
Kakenai.
Well, you can say kakaranai. Kakaranai is also an answer. But in the mass form, what's this in the mass form? Kakaru. This is a group one verb.
Kakarimas.
Yeah, kakarimas. So it would in the negative it would be
Kakate.
no.
Kakarimasen. Sorry, I'm in love.
No, that's good. Don't worry. Kakarimasen. Exactly. Kakarimasen. Just make sure this last bit is a negative, and then you can use hodo. That's all you have to do. Just turn the last thing into a negative. When we did yori, we used the affirmative for verbs, adjectives, and nouns. For hodo, just use negative. It's not complicated.
Okay.
Could you use kakaranai des instead of kakarimasen?
Yeah, but that implies something slightly different. Kakaranai des. You can use kakaranai in casual conversation. If you put des at the end, it's just giving a certain emphasis to something which we will look at another day because it's more about conversational chatting.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Should we do some Oh, we've got more to learn actually. Any questions so far, guys? Okay. Right. Let's look at the rest of this. Can you all see this? I can't see you guys. Maybe you can't.
I can see you, but nothing yet.
Oh, yeah. That's probably the best way, right? Right. So we can also say we can use this hoga something to say it is better to do something or it is worse to do something in a verb form. So, for example, if I want to say it is best to eat vegetables, you can say yasai, eating vegetables, or tabeta hoga ii desu. It is better to eat vegetables. So you can see here that the sentence construction is the verb is in the plain past tense, and then you just put hoga ii desu, for example.
And we don't put no in that case. So we just keep the, okay.
Correct, yeah, just have the verb by itself, yeah. So the no was only being used to mark the nouns in the previous comparator. But when we're using verbs, we can just put the verb in without no. Tabeta hoga ii desu.
There's no comparison here. It's just one verb.
Correct. Although you could use this as a comparison as well. You could say niku yori, more than meat, yasai o tabeta hou ga ii desu. It's better to eat vegetables than meat.
But then it doesn't refer to the, we don't make it to, we're not saying it's better to eat vegetables than to inject vegetables. We're saying it's better to eat vegetables than meat.
Correct, yeah. In that case, yeah, so actually you're right. I'll come back to this because this is complicating it away slightly from what I want to cover today. So if you just want to say it's better to do something, just do it in this form. You can also put this verb into the plain present form. Yasai o taberu hou ga ii desu. It means the same thing, kind of, but there is a slight difference between taberu and tabeta. Tabet, as I understand it from Patrick's wife, if you put this in the plain form, taberu, it makes it sound a bit more like a threat. Like if you don't, you must eat your vegetables. Whereas tabeta hou ga means it is better if you eat your vegetables. Yeah.
That sounds also like an indirect threat.
Yeah. The taberu hou ga ii desu is a little bit more of an explicit threat, I think, rather than this one being an implicit threat.
So if the Italians visit you, they would say harau hou ga ii desu.
So it's, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Adesso. Okay. If you want to put this in the negative, though, if you want to say it's best not to do something, then this verb just becomes the plain negative. For example, it is best not to touch tigers is tora o sawaranai hou ga ii desu. Lukasz, you've got that kind of I'm lost in space look about you. Are you lost in space? Or
It's good. It's absolutely clear.
Oh, good. Okay. Good. Yari, are you okay?
Yes, I am. There is a lot of remember.
Yes, yeah. We'll use these because they are very conversational sentences, so we will use these pretty soon. Spiros, are you okay?
Okay.
And Sophie, are you okay? Good. Okay. Last thing. I think somebody asked the question, how do you say this person is the most something? For example, Piotr is the most handsome Polish person, for example, in the world. Then we can add ichiban in front of the adjective. Ichiban just means number one. Ichiban. So if I want to make the sentence, I could say Piotr wa. What was I saying? The most beautiful Polish person, or let's just do the most beautiful person. Most what was it? No, handsome. Piotr wa ichiban handsome na hito desu. Okay, just put ichiban in front of the adjective.
Ichiban or ichiban no, or both are good?
Ichiban no, it depends. If it's going before an adjective, then it should just be ichiban without no. If it's going before a noun, you should have ichiban no. So if you want to say he is the biggest genius, you would say ichiban no tensai desu. Yeah.
Oh, now I dropped down. When no there.
So if you're putting ichiban before a noun like tensai, meaning genius, then you need a no. If you're putting it before an e adjective, then you don't need no. You can just say
ichiban, yeah.
Sui, ichiban takai, etc.
So if you put it in front of a na adjective, you still use no?
Yes.
And if you use it on a verb?
Hang on a second. Ichiban benri, ichiban no benri. No, in front of that adjective, you don't need it. You can say ichiban benri, ichiban genki. Yeah.
And verb?
Ichiban. Can you put it in front of a verb? He is the most eating.
Well, you were using the verb for example, for there is money, or I had money, right? I have more money.
Yeah. But I don't think you can say he is most going to Tokyo.
But he has the most money?
Ichiban okane ga arimasu. It's going before a noun, isn't it?
So you're saying
Ichiban no okane ga
the emphasis on the money there.
Sorry, give me a second. Ichiban okane ga arimasu. Ichiban no okane mochi desu. This rule of no, I think it's going to depend on the context. So if you wanted to say he is the richest person, if you said okane ga arimasu, you would say ichiban no okane. You would say ichiban okane ga aru hito desu. If you want to say he is okane mochi, which means a rich man, you would say ichiban no okane mochi desu. So it really depends on the context. Might have to come back. I reckon if you ask a Japanese person this question, they would just say, we just know it. We don't know the rule, we just do it naturally. Yeah. Has everybody written down all the notes they need to? Or do you need a bit more time? Costa, you okay? Okay, if you're feeling particularly adventurous in your studies, instead of using the word ichiban, which sounds a bit not immature, but not particularly sophisticated, you can search out these sai adjectives. For example, we've touched on this before, I think. Let's clear all this stuff off.
You explained this with the top floor, Saijokai, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Let's use biggest. So one way of saying this is, well, Yadi, how would you say biggest?
Saicho.
No, just use ichiban. Use ichiban.
Sensei wa ichiban
biggest.
Big.
Biggest.
Biggest saicho desu.
No. Ichiban. What's the word big in the adjective?
Oki desu.
Oki desu, right? Oki desu. Okay. I'm not sure why I have to be the person who's the biggest. Okay, since what Ichiban oki desu.
I think saicho, which was
that's longest, which is probably a better description. Okay. Right, go to your AE Dict. Go to AE Dict or something similar. And type in oki.
That's 1K.
Correct, yes. 2 O's, 2 I's, 1K. And click on it. And then press kanji. And what's the onyomi that you see at the top? Costa?
Dai or tai?
Dai or tai, exactly. Okay, can everybody see that at the top? You are going to have to know which one's correct. In this case, it's dai. If you say sai-dai, sai means most. In fact, if you type in sai, if you actually type in sai-dai into your dictionary, I'll put it on the screen. All right, I'll just type in kanji. Sai-dai. So this means big. This is a man with his arms outstretched, big. And this is motomo and sai, which means most. So if you put this sai before the Chinese reading of E adjectives, you get the biggest, smallest, the longest, the shortest. What about, okay, what's shortest, guys? Without using your dictionaries now, stop using dictionaries a second, because I think you already know everything you need to know about this. Hands off dictionaries, hands off dictionaries. What's the word short first in the long E adjective?
Tan.
Guy?
Guy.
Nagai? Oh.
No, nagai is long.
Chikai.
Chikai.
Ijikai. Ijikai.
Yeah,
hang on a second, Jock. Hang on. I want people to refer back to the memory they already have.
Oh, sorry.
That's right. So how would you know what this was in the Chinese reading?
Learn it.
Well, you already know quite a lot of words. You know tanto.
Tan, from tanto.
You know
tanjo.
Tanjo. And what else is there? Tanken, maybe. These all mean short. Tanto, tanjo, tanken. So as Jock said, the onyomi is tan. So shortest is
Saitan.
Saitan. Yeah, exactly. Saitan. Yeah. You okay, Effie? I thought.
Why are we supposed to know the onyomi? Actually, did I miss something?
So where they are, you mean?
Yeah, no, I mean, why are we supposed to know the onyomi from knowing the word? How are we supposed to know that without looking to the dictionary?
Well, have you heard of a tantor before?
Yeah, the small
knife.
Yeah.
So there you go. So you knew tan was already there. If you do jodo, you know that a short jo is a tanjo, and if you do maybe other forms of budo, you know the other word for short sword is tanken. It's all got the word short in front of them. Yeah, tankendo. Exactly.
So we look a bit in the words that we already know that might mean short. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. What other words might you know?
So would saisho be the smallest?
Yeah.
Saisho ni means first, at the first.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Start
so let's
of the
just
story.
So saisho, like, just a second. Oh, it's saisho. Sorry, saisho. This one. This is the smallest. And then the one that Yali just said, saisho with only a short o, saisho.
Start, yeah. The first
so this
thing.
means, this is hajimeru, meaning beginning. So this is the first. Not that. First, saisho. Saisho no ai wa ichiban taisetsu da.
Aiwa is what, love story or
love? No, Seishono, your first love is the most important.
So
I was going to say
Seishono biru that we usually.
Seishono biru ichiban umai yo. So da yo. So desu. Okay. Any questions, guys? Right, let's come off that because I want us to do some exercises before we finish. And we won't have a chance to do listening exercises today. Sorry. Let's clear this off. Right, let's start with Jock. How would you say summer? I'll put these up on the screen actually. Hang on, let me just do a few of these up first. I did more than that. Hang on. Sorry, not just that one. Oh, there they are. Why does it do that? That's so weird. Sorry, give me a second, Jock. I've got there's actually loads of these up here. For some reason, it's putting them all in a kind of mess. Let's do those again. Right, try again. Dlaczego tak robisz? See, that's all the ones I wanted up there. And, there we go. Right. Sorry, Jock. Summer is hotter than spring.
夏が冬より暖かいです。
暖かいですね。はい、good. Yeah, sometimes. 暖かいです。Okay, good. We can say summer is wetter than spring sometimes. Effie, winter is colder than spring.
冬が春より寒いです。
Very good. Excellent. Good. And then Spiros, spring is shorter than autumn.
春が冬より
autumn is not fuyu, it's, do you remember?
秋
Good. Yeah, very good.
秋
より tan. You can't use tan. You have to use the other one.
短いです。
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 Good. There was another one here, actually. It's gone missing in a second. Oh, no, there's not. That's it. Okay. Yari, I prefer sushi to sashimi.
Sushi ga sashimi yori ii desu.
So that would mean sushi. Yeah, suki desu. Yes, good, exactly. Suki desu. Good. Yeah. Cool. All right, let's get some more up.
Is that a haiku?
It is now. Give me 10 minutes and I'll turn it into a proper book. Winter is colder than spring. Spring is shorter than autumn. I prefer sushi to sashimi. Beautiful. Beautiful. So, Piotr, I don't like tempura more than kung fu.
Oh, great. So I get the negatives now. Tempura ga kung fu yori suki de wa arimasen.
I've now stopped typing. Tempura ga kung fu
yori.
Yeah.
Oh, this is.
Oh, no. Sorry. Again, I'm loud.
Because we're not saying not as much as. You're saying I don't like it more than.
Still saying a negative at the end.
Okay, so so I missed that part. So in that case, tempura ga kung fu hodo suki de wa arimasen.
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
This was part of my question, but okay.
Oh, okay. Well, this is how it works. Exactly as you did it.
Thank you.
Costa, Apple Macs are more expensive than PCs. You're muted at the moment, Costa.
Okay, so it's more. Okay, Apple Mac ga. What is the expensive? Takai.
Good.
Takai. Okay. Apple Mac ga PC yori takai desu.
Very good. Yes.
Okay. Andy.
Yeah, Jock, go ahead.
Just for vocabulary, pasokon.
Oh, Pascon. Sorry, yes, you're right. Pasokon. Pasokon. Thank you. Yeah.
Isn't pasokon generally computer, as in?
Yeah, yeah. But let's not get into the Apple Mac versus PC challenge in Japanese. Who knows? Yeah. Okay, Tom. When flying, airplanes are faster than hippos.
Is flying tobu?
Yeah, these are all true, by the way.
Tobu toki ni?
Good. Tobu toki ni.
Hikoki ga?
Hikoki ga.
Hippo yori hayaku desu.
Not hayaku.
Ni hayaku, that's a verb form. Hayai desu.
Hayai desu, yeah, good.
Hayai desu.
Very good, yes. Good. Sophie, when swimming, hippos are faster than airplanes.
Okay, when swimming, Oyogu, so when swimming.
Oyogu.
Hippo ga.
Oh, okay, we're going to go this way. Right. Hippo ga.
Hippo ga. Hikoki. So we have hikoki. It's faster. Yori. Hayaku. Fast. It's faster.
Not hayaku, but just. I mean, to be honest, Sophie, just to give you a general hint, advice for life. The sentence above is exactly the same form as the one that you have. You just need to change the words. When in doubt, copy the other person.
Oh, faster.
Hayai.
So, okay, hayai.
It's hayai desu, but
Yeah.
when? You said oyogu, so, but when? So when swimming, how do I put this in the sentence?
So, oyogu toki ni.
Good. Oyogu toki ni. Good.
Hippo ga hikoki yoru hayai desu.
Very good. Exactly. Good.
See, I'm speaking. I'm not writing.
Good.
So an improvement. Good.
You've broken that monkey addiction. Łukasz, Italian food is more delicious than British.
That's bollocks.
Well, I'm very pleased to hear you say that, but I don't think you'll be very genuous about it.
He's a mashed potato fan.
Especially in Cornwall, it's much more delicious in Britain.
Can I have an espresso? Sorry?
What? Italiano no ryori.
You don't need no, just Italian.
Italia ryori. Ga. Igirisu ryori.
Good.
Yori.
Good.
Oishi desu.
Oishi. And now I'd like you to read the sentence out, please.
イタリア料理がイギリス料理より美味しいです。
I'm surprised you didn't dislocate your jaw then.
It's easy.
Yeah, that's true. You speak Polish, you don't even have any. But you're speaking vowels. That's amazing. Well done.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's difficult a bit. That's difficult a bit. Too many vowels.
Get them all up, yeah.
Okay, back to Jock. Italian food is not as spicy as Thai food.
May I ask one question before Jock?
Sure. Yeah. Go ahead.
And there is Italian food more delicious. So is there possibility to use some adjective or semete or some word?
You don't really need to. This sentence does that for you. But if you wanted to, give it a little bit more gunpowder, then you could say Nohoga.
Okay. Ho is there the best. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. No.
Yeah. Okay. Jock, Italian food is not as spicy as Thai food.
Italia ryori ga Thai ryori hodo.
Good.
Karaku nai desu.
Very good. Karaku nai desu. Excellent. Cool. There's a few more just before we finish. I think we can get through 2 each. Oops. Just move some things up and around. Effie, Andy is not as tall as Tom.
Is
Possibly
tall
true.
okay also? No.
No. So the word for tall, as in people, what you have to say is your back is high.
Senaka.
Do you remember this? Not Senaka, but just se. Just se.
And
se. Ga.
I don't know. I've heard it, but I don't remember how we do. Sega Takai.
Sega Takai. Yeah.
Okay.
Sega Takai.
Okay. That's an E adjective then.
Correct.
That doesn't really matter. Okay. Andy-san, Tom Hodo. Andy-san ga, sorry, Tom Hodo. Sega takakunai desu.
Very good. Takakunai desu. Excellent. Good. Spiros, Kim is the most tall of all compared to Constantina. So I'd like it with some gunpowder, please.
Kim-san ga, Constantina.
Sorry, Spiros, I'd like you to use the other way of doing it. So not just ga, but
ha.
No. Nohoga.
Nohoga.
Yeah.
Constantina. Constantina Yori.
Yep.
Ichiban.
Ooh. Be careful here. So this isn't saying that Kim is the tallest in the world. Oh, actually, no, we are saying, sorry, we're comparing it to Constantina. So you can use Ichiban. Yeah, go ahead.
Ichiban Sega Takai desu.
Very good. Sega Takai desu. Excellent. Good. Yari. As for basketball, USA is most skillful compared to Liechtenstein. Probably.
Basketball.
Yeah.
No hoga.
No, hang on. We're saying as for basketball. How do we say this? Remember, we did it in the conditional section. With regard to, as for.
No, I don't remember how.
We can use nara in this case.
Of course.
Nara.
In that case, yes.
Yeah, in the case of basketball, yeah. Basketball nara.
Skillful is just something. It was I don't remember that either.
Okay, we'll form the rest. Make the rest of the sentence first.
Basketball nara. USA.
So it's America.
Okay.
Yeah.
America. No. Hoga.
Yeah. Hoga.
Liechtenstein. How do you say Liechtenstein?
It's probably something like Liechtenstein or something. I don't know. We'll use Liechtenstein.
Okay. Difficult word.
Yeah.
Benry.
Henry? Hang on. We need to mark Liechtenstein with something.
Liechtenstein. Ni.
No. Come on.
No.
What's the comparator?
This is difficult. Maybe.
No, it's not. It's yes. It's your.
Yori. Okay. Yori. Then Benry.
Not Benry. You said the word before though. What skillful was?
something I don't remember the word. Something near
Jozu.
Jozu. Yeah.
No, not yours. Jaws.
Jozu.
And then finish. And then we have to finish it with Jozu.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Good. Right. Just do these last three. So
could you say basketball wa?
Yep. You can. You can. Yeah. Yeah.
Can you? Sorry.
Go ahead, Tom.
I would have thought, but I think it's not correct. But basketball, kara, as for basketball.
No. It's either going to be nara or wa. But it's not from basketball. It's as for basketball. Piotr has more money than me. It's going to be funny you saying this, but...
Who saw this?
Well, you could be talking about yourself. You could say, I have more money than me.
Still.
Yeah.
Piotr-san wa watashi yori, and then simply okane ga motte arimasu.
Okane ga arimasu. Yep, exactly. Good. Costa, Chinese is harder to read than Japanese. Guys, I know we're running over, but let's just see if we can finish this off perfectly.
Chinese, what is the word for Chinese?
So it'd be chugoku go, but if it's written, I think it's called chubun. I think that's how you say written Chinese. Chubun.
Chubun ga. Nihongo yori.
Yep.
Harder
Careful.
to read.
Remember this one? How to do these? Harder to read. It was in the section called intensifiers we did a few weeks ago.
It's the muskasi, but
good.
No, this is more difficult. And I'm gonna remember it.
Technically, if you're reading your notes, you're not reading it. You're not remembering it.
No. I'm just trying to read.
Okay.
Yori, no. Yasui. No, this is the easy one.
So to read is yomu.
Yomu?
Oh, sorry. And then yasui is easy, correct? So it's not yasui though. It's harder. So what's muzukashi in the intensifier form? I'll tell you. It's nikui.
Bravo. I was saying something with S and completely wrong. Okay. Mutsuka sin nikui. It's mutsukashi. We take
Yomi.
Yomi nikui. Mutsukashi desu.
It's got to finish with just des. Yomi nikui desu.
Okay. Without the musukashi. Okay.
Yeah, this muzukashi is. Oh, you've already written it. It's this word here, nikui. Okay, and finally, Łukasz, Rammstein is not as easy to listen to as Bach. This is obviously wrong, I know, but I was just making up examples. Is it Rammstein 1 or 2? Is it Rammstein?
Rammstein.
2 M's.
Rammstein.
Yeah.
Rammstein is not as easy to listen to as barking.
Which is the alternate version of the same. Rammstein wa?
Rammstein
wa?
Va? Yeah.
Bach.
Stop showing off your sophistication, Effie. Yeah.
Bach.
Bach.
Hodo.
Oh, good.
Easy to listen. It's the same like harder to read.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Difficult to remember.
Difficult to remember, exactly. Easy to listen. I don't remember this kind of stuff.
Kikiyasui.
Oh, kikiyasui. Okay.
Kikiyasui desu.
But this is not as easy. So.
Kikiyasukunai desu.
Very good. Yasukunai desu. Excellent. Good. Cool. Good. Well done. Any questions? Whew. That was a bit of a car crash, wasn't it? Jock.
As for basketball, can we use basketball ni tsuite?
With regards to nisuite wa, you could, but it.
I mean, we don't have to, but I just wondered.
Yeah.
How you?
It's a funny use of nisuite, though.
Okay.
No,
leave it, Andy. It's okay.
Yeah. Maybe in time I can explain a bit easier the difference between nada and nisuite. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions, guys? Nicht. Piotr, dozo.
So yeah, I'm sorry to go into that, but if we say if we can use hodo both to mean not as much as well as not more than.
No, it doesn't mean not more than. It means not as much as.
Yeah, but the first sentence I had to translate was not more than. I don't like tempura.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, true. Yeah. Okay, I'll give you that.
No. So which way is it? Help.
You can just use the simple one. Just means I don't like it as much as.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Then I'll drop the rest. Thank you.
Sure. Okay, guys. Jock, go ahead.
Can I phone you after the lesson?
Oh, we can stay on this if you like.
Oh, okay. If I can.
Yeah, sure. Okay, guys, let's call it a day, shall we? Thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you very much. Arigato.
Arigato, tiabao.
Arigato.
Bye. Go Yaddy, go Yaddy, go Yaddy. There we go.
Okay, two things, Andy, if I can.
Sure.
When you do your mentoring, do you go through an agency to find that work, or do people approach you privately?
Oh, you mean the home tutoring?
Yes.
I used to go through an agency. The student I've got at the moment was just through a private link. It's Harry's brother. And the other one that I had, I've now lost, was just through a Facebook contact. It was also private.
But are there agencies?
Oh, there are. So the one that I would recommend, the one I used to work for, who seem to have a lot of coverage, are called. Give me a second. Oh, fuck me, what are they called? Can we just have a look for their email? Hang on a second. Something tutors. Oh, Fleet Tutors. There we go. Let me just find the Fleets. Let me just find the website address and I'll send it to you. Fleet Tutors. There we go. Fleet Tutors.
To my mobile, yeah.
Oh, I can send it on an email if you prefer.
Oh yeah, that would be great. It's my sister. No, my daughter-in-law. She's looking for to use her Spanish.
Right.
To teach Spanish, but I didn't. I suggested to her to go through an agency, but if there are such things.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few around. I mean, I was using Fleet Tutors back in 2010. There's almost certainly a lot more now, but I had a good experience with Fleet Tutors. They had a lot of coverage around the whole country and a lot of coverage in terms of all the subjects they do. So I was like getting work pretty constantly from them, to be honest, when I had a quiet period. But yeah, it's also worth looking around. But almost certainly, I'd say the only sticky point, Jock, and a good reason to go private if you can, is that the rate that the tutoring agencies charge is about £30 an hour, but they actually pay their tutors like £18 an hour, so they take like 12 quid out of 30. Whereas if you go private, you can split the difference with the client, so you could go like £25 an hour. The client saves £5 and you gain £7.
Yes, indeed. That's wonderful. And now the other thing was, when we were in Japan with Paul Gledhill and Greg and Leslie, they started Jushin. Well, they signed up with Jushin and since it's put them on the book. But Paul has written to me saying that he he and Greg were going through the notes that they took when they were in Japan, but now that Greg's not there, he can't make head or tail of them. So he wants to continue Jushin because he's only had one session. Bit difficult, but anyway, right at the moment. But are there any? There was talk about a CD. Did that ever happen?
DVD by Morishima Sensei.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, it's another one of those DVDs that's been in the pipeline for ages. I don't think
Okay, so it's not happened. So do you think I could send him some notes on the Jushin?
Oh, by all means. I mean, do you have access to my Jushin notes kind of spreadsheet thingy?
I might have if I could ever find it, but
let me just dig it out now, and I'll send just while we're on the line. Let me do it.
And would you mind me sending that to him? Because
not at all. Not at all. That's fine. Okay. Yeah. Let me just quickly get it.
Because they're probably more accurate than mine, and they're more up to date than mine.
Sure. Although I mean, I've seen a few sort of versions of notes, and so I've had some from you and also some from Chris as well. You know, Chris's ones were sometimes a bit dodgy, but generally I think they represented what Sensei was teaching at the time accurately. But he does change a little bit as time goes by.
I can always mention that to Paul, that it's not gospel. I mean,
it's best to keep it in your mind that, you know, he might go back another day, or Sensei might say to him, no, that's not correct. Let me just find the link now. I think you've actually got access to this already.
Okay.
And I'll send this to your to you as well. Just a second.
Email.
Yeah. John Thompson.
Email's the one thing I can get almost certainly first time.
Sure. Let me just also, I'll add, I should be able to, let me just grab Paul Gledhill's email address. No, actually I've got a better idea. I know what I'll do. I'll publish this as a website, and then he won't have any difficulty in seeing it, and he won't be able to adjust it either, so he doesn't have to be worried about kind of overwriting anything. Published. Oops.
You send it direct to him then, and I'll just send a email saying it's on its way.
Sure. Let me just quickly have this. I just want to make sure it works before I do it, if you don't mind. We'll see. Yeah, this works. Let me just send this to you and him then. Jock and Paul Gledhill. Paul Gledhill at gmail.com. Jushin notes. Jock. Paul. Please see notes at this link. Indeed, as that. And if the training we do on Saturday morning, you have an open invitation to that, Jock, anytime you want to join. Just let me know.
Really? Thank you.
Yeah. So, and Paul as well, if he can find somewhere to train, you know, even if he's only doing standing forms, because I can only do standing outside as well. You have an open invitation all the time to come and join us.
Oh, is that Saturday morning at 10? Is it?
10 o'clock, yeah. Do you want me to send you the link to that as well?
Well, it will probably save me 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah, let me do it now. Jushin Zoom link.
Because I'd like to see again how you do standing versions of the sitting forms.
Yeah. Of course, these are of course made up, aren't they? But yeah, of course. So I'll just write a note in here. Saturday, 10 a.m.
And you do that weekly, do you?
Yes. Yeah. We haven't had a rest since we started, actually. Aurelian comes to it as well, so he's training. The dojo is open at the moment, so he's able to actually update us of anything new that Sensei says, which is quite handy because you know, sometimes Sensei will just say something that surprises everybody, and even Morishima Sensei will go, "Oh, I didn't know that. So yeah, it's useful.
I'll see if I can get Wi-Fi down in my workshop. That's the best place.
You got plenty of
If
space
I
down
can
there.
get a connection down there, yeah, I've got so much space and no work.
Yeah, don't know about it. Cool.
That's marvelous. Thank you very much. Thank you for the lesson.
Oh, thank you.
To talk so much with that.
I think everybody's kind of getting to grips with transitive and intransitive verbs, and this is a really good practice to sort of learn how to read the dictionary and go through it and learn all these little tricks. I think it's a really useful part for people's study. So don't sweat it.
Thanks.
Okay, thanks, John. Take care.
Bye-bye.
See you soon. Bye.